Good evening, everybody. My name's Donnie Glover, and welcome to the show. You see the theme right there, supporting Black restaurants. Hope you've had a wonderful day. A little chilly here in the city of Baltimore. Tonight we're going to be talking about something that is very near and dear to my heart, the restaurant business, hospitality industry. And on that note, big ups to Michael Haney, who's been training people in that industry, in the hospitality industry for a long time. Hotels, restaurants. My very first job that I got a paycheck, if I'm not mistaken. No, I got some summer corps checks, but I was about 15. This was my first non-summer corps job with a paycheck. How about that? Was at the Methodist Conference Center. My mother worked there by day as a secretary. She answered the phone, receptionist. But they would have retreats there. It's the United Methodist Conference Center. So they would have retreats all the time. And my mother was a very good cook. In my world, a chef. And she had recipe books everywhere, up the yin yang. But anyway, she cooked she got some gigs doing cooking. And if you got to cook, then you need a what? Then you need a dishwasher. That was my first job. I was a dishwasher. First non-summer corps check. Most of the checks I gotten were the summer corps. You remember this Baltimore Summer Corps, 3 checks? You had to work 4 weeks in the hole, I think. Those were the good old days. But from there, I worked in many, many restaurants, waiting tables. Because you start off as a busboy. So you go dishwasher, busboy, waiter, and I guess ultimately maitre d', if you're that kind of an establishment, the maitre d'. So we're going to get down and talk with Mr. Casey. I can't hear you. No sound. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Guess he's going to go out and come back in. So I learned a lot in restaurants. One, how to make money legitimately, how to get tips. My favorite story is telling the 5-top I got on a Monday night as a waiter down at Harrison's Pier 5. Shout out to all my Harrison's people. Sold them stuffed surf and turf. That was the most expensive dish. That was my forte. I'm going to sell you the most expensive dish on the menu, the most expensive drinks, so I can get the biggest tip. And I did. Very well. Very well. Let's try them again.
Technical difficulties, Donnie. Hey, I'm better with a chef's knife than anything else.
Now, are you going to hold that camera for a whole show, or are you going to put it stationary somewhere?
No, I'm going to hold the camera for the whole show. It's like holding a knife and a spatula. I can do that.
No, it's not.
I can do it, brother. I can do it. I might shift hands every now and again, but I can do it, brother. How's everybody doing out there in Donnie Glover land?
We're good. I was just reminiscing on the days of, my first jobs. My mom worked at the Methodist Conference Center by day as a receptionist, and some evenings and on weekends, she cooked the food for the people on retreat at the Methodist Conference Center. And I posed the question rather rhetorically, what does the cook need? Who's the first person that the cook needs? And who's the dishwasher.
I was about to say the most important person in my kitchen, at least. It's definitely not me. You can always find somebody to You can always find somebody to do a good meal, but it's hard to find someone that's going to stand there all day, every day, and wash those dishes and pots and take that garbage out. The dishwasher by far is the most important person in the kitchen,
But
without a doubt.
it was an education.
Yeah.
Today I meet a lot of and this is not to point fingers at young people,
Mhm.
but I see even better what our parents and that older generation, what they were trying to teach us. They said something like this, that you got to work your way up,
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
gotta, before you sweep your own floor, you got to learn how to sweep somebody else's floor.
This is
Put
true.
differently, you got people like, I'm in media. My first gig in media, they were not paid gigs. I did
Yeah.
a few non-paid gigs
Mhm.
before volunteering actually turned into a job. Nobody wants to start at the bottom.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you a funny. I'm going to tell you a funny story. So I can't remember Ed's last name. I just knew him as Chef Ed. He was a brother that opened up a classically French restaurant across from the Meyerhoff, as a matter of fact. And it was under the Badger's Den, which is a bed and breakfast on Biddle, and it was called Tessa. I want to say Tessatanas. So this was back in, I want to say, 94, 95. Ed opened up Tessatanas, and African American chef. I read about him in the newspaper. He was really killing it over there, making classically French cuisine. Meyerhoff was doing things. He was always packed. Everybody made reservations. So I walked in there one day, and I asked him for a job. And true story, no embellishing on this one. I like to embellish for effect sometimes, but no embellishing on this one. I walked in. He said, "Well, I don't have any. I have all the line cooks I need." And I said, "No, I want to work for free." So he looked at me like I had lost my mind. He said, "You want to work for free?" I said, "Yeah, I want to work for free. I just want to learn what you did to open this restaurant. I want to just get on the line. I want to watch you." And he hired me. I worked there for maybe about 4 or 5 months. I worked there, walked in every day after my normal job, cooking and doing whatever he asked me to do. But I was under one of the things that I understood, that if I was going to open up my restaurants, that I was going to have to get under a proven mentor, and I was going to have to learn under somebody that, not that knew how to cook, because it's an interesting thing. People always say to themselves, "Oh, I make a good burger, or I make a good steak, or I do this good." That doesn't make you a chef. That makes you a good cook, and people need to understand that. I don't know when foodie became an actual job category, but I worked under him for a number of months, just learning every single thing that he did. And once I did that, I was blown away. And here I am in 2000 and what are we 2021, and I'm on my third restaurant. So obviously I did something right. I don't know what it was. They weren't All three of my restaurants weren't always successful. But I was able to. Darker Than Blue was my most successful restaurant, and that's why I opened up a second one. So it takes a lot of commitment. It takes dedication. It takes hard work. It takes a lot of loss of sleep. I missed a lot of birthdays. I missed a lot of graduations. I remember my daughter was mad at me. Oh, I missed the night she went to the prom. Um, but it's for the greater cause, if you will, of being able to put food on the table.
What would she say now?
That she'll never work for me. That she'll never work for me. Love her to death, but she'll never work for me. And I understand that, because I'm a tough guy to work for sometimes. Hey, looks like we got a new guest on here.
I'm not a guest.
Oh, who is that guy? What you doing, man? Big Tony from the group home.
Hey, what's up? What's up? I'm an IT guy, but know it from the way the difficulty I have getting into this thing. So I'm actually inside the restaurant now, Donnie.
Are we? Look. Aren't we all? Look. We ain't got no place else to be, Tony.
I was in my car and my internet connection was bad.
Tell them the name of your restaurant, Tony.
Next Phase Cafe, 112 East Lexington Street. And that background you hear, the cooks in the kitchen.
So Tony can now call himself an OG in the industry. How you been, brother?
They make a lot of noise, but go ahead. Let me move to a quiet place.
It's good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too, Casey. So what was the comment?
We talking about Donnie and I, having a conversation. Donnie and I actually had a conversation earlier about the amount of African American. There's a tremendous amount of African American restaurants that have opened up in the city in the last we'll say year or two. I mean, you have restaurants like I met one of the owners, the chef owner of Remix. You've got Seon that just opened up the Black Swan. Of course you got the old school cats like Tony and Next Phase. You got Terrence Dixon, Terra Cafe. You got Dell over at T-Vol. I don't think in the last 22 years that I've seen this many African American owned eateries, full service eateries in Baltimore, and I'm loving it right now. I'm loving it.
What do you say, Tony?
I think it's a beautiful thing right in my immediate vicinity. I think Casey's opening up around the corner from me. He's going to be my new neighbor. And there's a restaurant, I think it's the Good Guys, opening up on Fair Street. So,
Tony, how has it been managing through COVID?
Difficult, complicated. It's still complicated. Everything from inventory. Has anyone talked about inventory, how difficult it is? And people want to know why prices are up and down and all around. And your inventory is difficult to, for instance, crab meat, chicken wings, and recently catfish. Who would have thought there would be a catfish shortage? All the way through COVID. And here it is a month ago, I couldn't get catfish from any of the major distributors and their national distribution operations. And locally, I went into the market and snatched up every piece of catfish I could find. Fortunately for us, we sold it immediately, and I was out for 2 to 3 days. So it's been difficult pivoting, trying to adjust the price to the demands of the market and the changing availability of inventory. Staffing is a major problem, as many of restaurant workers have moved into other areas, mostly technology from the statistics that I've seen for the Restaurant Association. Probably have never come back. The whole dynamics of this business has changed significantly, minute by minute, day by day, and I'm still dancing.
Tony, I'll never forget you saying, sorry to cut you there, I'll never forget you saying over a year ago how you had to listen to your employees.
Employees and customers, yes, sir. Yeah, the key to survival for us was to pull together the team and make it a stronger, cohesive team, and then to listen to the couple of people that were coming here at the beginning of the pandemic, as we're talking about during the time of the pandemic. I mean, a year ago, we figured it out, and we kind of was able to adjust our business and move things according to the market. Remember, I was a full-service restaurant offering live entertainment and all that kind of stuff, and downtown was a ghost town for about 18 months. So what do? We moved over to the fast food side, but I wanted to keep it fast casual. So it was a lot of back and forth, changing the business model to suit the needs of all the legislation that was put in place to restrict things and to unrestrict things and extend things like outdoor seating. So there were many things moving in the business that forced us to have to adapt to those changes and maintain a profit and stay in the black. And that still exists today post-pandemic because the changes that occurred during the pandemic are becoming long-term changes that are probably going to go on forever in this industry. So I'm constantly redefining, and then try to pivot and move the needle in the middle sometimes to kind of wait to see what happens on the left or right side. But I'm positioned well enough to keep moving forward and not backwards. What we call the next phase, because we never go backwards. We're not the first phase, the last phase, the next phase.
So look, our connection isn't that great, but I did want you to plug any entertainment you have coming up before we let you go. Any entertainment.
Mark Evans is going to be here Friday at 8 p.m. We do Soulful Friday every Friday, live entertainment. There is a cover to support the musicians that were performing that night, but the entertainment as well is going to be great. Great crew, great, entertainment. It starts at 8 p.m. Doors open. Of course, we open from 11 a.m. until wee hours of the morning on Friday. But if you're coming for the entertainment, you want to get here as close to 8 as possible. Mark Evans will perform from 8 to 10. Mark Evans is an R&B group. He's been around for a long time. He actually opened phase 10, and he opened the next phase. He was the first act to perform here, the first act to perform at phase 10. He actually, his father is a jazz saxophonist. When we opened phase 10, his father played the first set, played some jazz music, and Mark Evans came on. That was June 12, 2012, at our school. So we're doing it again and again and again, and Mark Evans is just great. He also hosts our Acoustic Thursday, which is every first and third Thursday. So literally, he's going to be here Thursday and Friday. So he'll be here with his full band on Friday. He'll be here with acoustic instruments and a wide open mic offering for folks that want to come in off the street and do their thing, whether it's poetry, whether it is playing an instrument. It doesn't have to be an acoustic instrument. You can play an electrical instrument, and you will be allowed to perform on Thursday. That's 8 o'clock too. All the live entertainment, when it does occur, should be at 8 o'clock in the week at night. Plenty of drink, and come on down. 410-249-3232.
Good deal. Tony, we appreciate you. Thank you for all of your support, man, and we wish you the absolute best.
Thank you, man. Thank you. All right, great. That's my cue to vanish. I don't know if my connection is great. Casey, it's great seeing you. I just got a question for you. When you're opening?
We're looking to open. I just got past my my fire inspection today and my health inspection yesterday. So I'm looking to do the grand opening December 3rd. Okay. All right. And what I'm going to do, and Tony, of course, I expect you to be there along with Doni and those guys. But also, we'll be opening within the next week or two. But we won't fully go into full throttle till December 3rd.
Okay, good. Well, I'm certain I'm on email distribution, shooting some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
In the loop.
I got your email. Hey, listen, come on, man. Hey, next phase 10. Come on. I don't watch you grow into the superstar that you are today, brother.
Appreciate it. Hey, you guys are superstar. I'm just sitting on the sideline watching the game. But
and congratulations to your daughter too. I heard your daughter's taking a bigger stake in these things too, man.
But she always has been from the beginning, even phase 10. She was just behind the scenes. We put out front.
Yep. I've been hearing a lot of awesome things about it. As a matter of fact, shoot, I was in here under construction last week and the week before. I got the catfish dinner last week from you guys, and the week before I got the catfish dinner because it was so good the first time. And I had it Grubhubbed over or Uber, Grubhub Uber or whatever it was. So
one of them. Yes.
Huh?
I said DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber, one of them.
Yeah. I said it's I went down the list of who's in this area. I said, next phase. Yeah. I'm ordering from next phase. And the guy, he came, delivered the food. He was very courteous. The food was good. It was hot. Yeah. You can't complain. Listen, I make sure that I tell all the brothers and sisters out there, whether or not it's next phase, whether or not it's T-Vol, whether or not it's Terra, whether or not it's Land of Kush, we got love for one another. We're not in competition. There's more than enough business out here for all of us.
Hey, they do it in New York. They do it in D.C. They do it in Philly. Why not Baltimore?
That's right. We love each other, my man.
Too. And we just got to keep it going. I talk to, Terrence and Greg all the time.
Yep.
So, we got to do something.
Naja's very active.
All right.
Hey, always good seeing you, brother.
Doni, as always, it's good talking to you too. Casey, I'm going to vanish and go to my meeting. And again, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
God bless.
All right, bye.
The struggle, the hustle, the grind. Hey, tell me about it.
It's real, man. It's real. And, I remember when cats like Greg and Naja came into the game. I had been in for a little while, and Naja always called me the grandfather of this thing. Greg always called me the OG. But I remember looking back on cats like Jimmy Britton, and watching what they were doing. Jimmy Britton was actually one of the first cats, I saw, do the MBE program. And I said, I got to get into that MBE program. And it's a struggle, man, because you're always looking for constant streams of revenue. You're always looking, where's the next dollar going to come from? Hey, it's one of those situations of, if I don't catch nothing, if I don't kill nothing, I don't eat. We eat what we kill. And that's kind of cliche coming from a chef, but if I don't get no customers that day, I don't eat. And it's a real thing.
Casey, how significant is it for Black restaurateurs like Tony Randall, like Casey Jenkins, to work together?
It's important, man. I'm going to tell you the very first experience and when I realized how important it was. So I might have been open maybe about 3 months, maybe open 3 months, and it was a cold, rainy night. And this is, I'm building up the story, but it's all true. So, I'm standing at the front. I'm standing at the hostess station. I got one of my servers there, and it's a slow night for us. I might have 2 or 3 tables in the restaurant. And then I got a phone call. Lady says, "Hey, can you accommodate a party of 10 tonight?" I said, "Well, of course, man. We can accommodate a party of 10. We located on Greenmount Avenue, da 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 da." She said, "Oh, Greenmount." She said, "Tough area." I said, "Come in. We'll make you feel good." So I said, "Well, how'd you hear about us?" She said, "Well, I was over at Timothy Dean's, and Timothy was packed. And he said, 'Hey, I heard this new brother opened up a restaurant over on Greenmount. You need to go check him out.' And Timothy sent me my first party, over on Greenmount Avenue at Darker Than Blue." So that made me think, there's no competition out here. What we need to do is we really need to get together, build these buying programs up, build all these strengths that we have individually up. I look at someone like a Naja. Naja is a brilliant marketer. Think about it. The Land of Kush is a nationally recognized vegan restaurant as one of the best vegan restaurants in the country. And that's because of the incredible marketing of Naja and the incredible cooking of Greg Brown. So when you look at those things, we've all got things to offer. I'm a person that's focused in. I'm a great chef, but I focus in on the numbers too. Sales per labor hour, sales per labor's dollar, food costs, labor costs. Those are all the things, that are going to make a successful restaurant, not just butts in the seat, but also being able to manage a bottom line. So what I do is I have cats that call me all the time. "Hey, what should I do about this, chef? What should I do about this?" And I give that information away freely. So it was interesting. I was just when you called me, I was sitting down with a group of friends going over some things, and he said, "Hey, I want to open up. I want to start a food truck." So I said, "Okay, I know a cat that's selling a food truck." So I got on the phone. Everybody knows Theo from Sully's when Sully's was over there on Bel Air Road, huh?
Theo Divine.
Theo Divine, exactly. One of the best. Him and Jay and what's Smoking Jay, best smokers and best barbecue cats in the city. So I knew Theo was selling a food truck, and Theo had a beautiful food truck. And I said, "Well, listen, let me hook you up with Theo." And that's just the way we get down, all of us. We butt heads. We lock horns, a lot of us. And I'm not saying me and Theo, but me and a lot of the other chefs. But it's still all love. And it's no competition. All love.
You mentioned food, steel, sharp, and steel. Listen,
yeah,
you mentioned food trucks. Shout out to nachobangers.com.
Yo, them cats. So I just met them cats for the first time because the general manager that I just hired for Darker Than Blue, he's also an entrepreneur. He owns, and I'm a shameless plug right now, he owns a company called Popular Stranger. Have you seen those hats that have become popular in Baltimore? They say OVA East, OVA West, like over East, over West. You seen those? That's the cat that I just hired as the general manager.
I do understand Baltimore vernacular. Thank you.
Well, yeah, no, this is for your other people that don't, because I didn't know what the hell it meant. I said, yo, you know, and I'm from New York. I'm like, yo, what's OVA East? So he looked at me like I had grown a third head. Doc. He said, over. I said, oh shit, I feel stupid. You know, so excuse my language. I said, oh, so I mean, and these hats are flying out the door. Over East, over West, you know, up Mondawmin. So I love it.
I'm not wearing no up Mondawmin hat. I'll wear over East, over West. I ain't wearing no up Mondawmin hat.
You know what? I love this.
That's like saying, hey, stick me up.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you something, Donnie. When I first moved to Baltimore, I love this city so much. I was wondering why everybody was going up someplace. Yo, where you going? Up Mondawmin? And I love it. So he has all of these hats.
Time out.
Oh, here we go.
That is clearly a North Avenue or south of North Avenue term.
Yeah.
Because Mondawmin is to the north.
Exactly.
But if you lived up in Ashburton or Woodlawn or Gwynn Oak, you're going down to Mondawmin.
No, but y'all was always going up someplace.
No, the people that you were around were only going in that direction.
But you know what? I tell you that.
Don't get too slick, because I know some New Yorkers that mess up geography too. Because everything is, we were over. Yeah, I'll say it too. You say it in a different way. You say over in Baltimore. And technically it would be down in Baltimore.
Yeah, you know, you're right. You know, so but you know, the actual what I was actually
but other damage would not get that. Over East, over West. No, we know you don't get it.
I didn't get it. And I was embarrassed once I said I was going OVA East. What you mean? And so he looked at me. He a young dude. He's a millennial. He's in his 30s. So he said, that's over. So I was like, oh shit. I mean, excuse my language, guys. I'm a chef. I don't know any better. So I was like, oh, okay. So, but now that's the brother that works with me. I don't say he works for me, because he's an entrepreneur, but he's taken on the task of being the general manager here at Darker Than Blue.
You know, that brings me to a question.
Go ahead.
How have you matured since the last time?
Oh, Jesus. I got to take my glasses off for this. So, you know, it's interesting. When I first opened the first Darker Than Blue, you know, you look at some of the reviews. A lot of the reviews were favorable. You know, phenomenal place, you know, makes you feel like you're in Soho, all of these great things. But I, you know, you have to excuse me on this one, but I remember, and it's still on Google. It's a funny, very funny review. It said, oh my God, this is one of the best restaurants I've ever been in Baltimore. But it actually said this: the owner's an asshole. He needs to stay in the kitchen. And I still laugh about that review, because I was a different person back then. You know, I was in my 30s when I opened my first restaurant. I was 35 years old. I was young. I was arrogant. I didn't know as much as I thought I knew. But when I opened my second restaurant, I matured a little bit. Now, it all goes back to that old saying that Muhammad Ali used to always say: if I'm the same man at 30 that I am at 50, then I've wasted 20 years of my life. I'm definitely a different person. I'm more relaxed these days. I'm more comfortable in my 50s. I've seen a lot more. I've done a lot more. And I actually enjoy sitting down, having conversations and a glass of wine over a plate of food with people these days. Before, it was a constant grind. Now it's a labor of love.
Can I offer you this?
Sure.
We are who we are.
Yeah, yo, definitely.
Now, not to make any excuses for bad behavior. Self included. But that's who we are. Then we're supposed to mature and get better. But let me give you this on a positive tip. When did you open the first Darker Than Blue?
2006. 2006.
Rarely do you find someone with 15 years in the ownership game who has achieved what you have.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Some people may initially call us arrogant, but the truth of the matter is arrogance can be confused with confidence.
Mm.
When I think of you, I think of someone who has learned to be his own biggest cheerleader. You've been in the Marines. You tell me you're from New York City, but they tell me you're from the suburb. You from upstate. Where you from?
I'm from White Plains, New York, and I wear that 914 proudly. I really do. I love being from White Plains.
But you have seen cities. You understand restaurants. You hire black people, and as I've said, even in my book, I Am Black Wall Street, that we don't have to like each other. We don't have to love each other to support each other.
You're right.
If that person, if that man, if that woman, if they're hiring other black people and creating jobs legally, we have an obligation. We have an innate responsibility as fellow Black Americans to support them.
Yep.
And there's no excuse. We don't have to like each other. We don't have to be in love with each other. But if I see you employing black people, it's my job to help you. And if I can't help you, then I should just go away. And this is what I mean specifically. If I've seen one childish person, I've seen a million. Write something on Facebook that, like, you know, really, like, you know, because I get these friend requests just like you get them all the time. And I've learned, like you, as I've gotten older, to look at who this person is. Do you really want to accept this person? Let's see what they write. Let's see what their energy is. Because as I get older, I only want good energy in my space.
Yes.
If you have,
yeah, you're right.
I don't want anything that ain't helpful to my growth. Now I'm human, you know. I'm gonna look at the girly girls, but at the end of the day, you can be pretty as all outdoors. But if that mind is toxic, you know, if the things that come out the mouth are toxic, I'm good.
You know, it's funny that you say that. So there was a person. There's a person that I know, and you know, it drives me crazy sometimes. But there's this person that I know had a really
which Johnson paying you homage,
huh?
Is Michael Johnson is paying homage to you?
Hey, Big Mike. So let me. I have some great memories of Baltimore. I remember one of the very first people that I met when I opened my very first restaurant was Mike Johnson when he was running for council. And Mike, they were supposed to be, I forget, someone was having a fundraiser before I'd even opened. I hadn't even opened the doors. I was still under construction, and somebody had announced they were having a fundraiser at the Darker Than Blue back then. And Mike Johnson comes walking in with his people and everything. Hey, there's supposed to be a fundraiser here, and we must have sat down for about an hour to an hour and a half, just kicking it. And Mike educated me on a lot of politics.
Did you know he owned Odell's?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
At one point, I'm not saying during the heyday, but afterwards, he had a film, he had a theater there.
I remember Mike's an awesome cat, because I remember one of the things that he was trying to put together was also a museum dedicated toward, you know, African Americans in theater. And Mike is brilliant in that respect. So he's one of the first cats that I really got the opportunity to deal with here in Baltimore. And I think he's a phenomenal cat.
He may have lived in New York.
He did live in New York for a little while. Yeah. He actually did. You know, Mike's a phenomenal cat, man. And I remember he used to always come in the restaurant. Hey, Casey, you know, his favorite dish. And Mike, you need to text Donnie, yay or nay if I'm wrong.
I'll
His
send him
favorite
the link.
dish.
I'll send him the link if he's watching. You can come
Well,
on in, Mike.
yo, come on, Mike. His favorite dish was a chicken Alfredo. And the one thing, and he was the only person I knew that used to do this in Dark and Blue. He used to always send hey, tell Casey Mike Johnson's out here. He needs some black people sauce. And I used to always, he said, so the server would come back in the kitchen and be like, yo, chef, this guy out here says you know him and he wants black people sauce. So I'd be like, go get the hot sauce off the shelf and take it out to Mike. That was every time he came in. But Mike was one of my biggest supporters, man. So he gets nothing but love from me.
Casey, when is the grand? When are you opening? When's the grand opening?
Grand opening, December 3rd. Now it's either December 3rd or 4th. I'm going to say more tomorrow. But it's December. I'm going to lock it down tomorrow, I should say, and start sending out the invites via Facebook and Instagram to people. But it's going to be the 3rd or 4th of December. But we will be opening within the next week or so, but we're going to do the grand opening in December.
You opened up a restaurant in a pandemic.
Yeah. I'm crazy like that. I'll never forget. So here's one for you, Donnie.
Now this
woman that used to be mayor. They call her Sheila Dixon.
Keep the camera still getting dizzy.
All right, I'm sorry. Here we go. This woman that used to be mayor, they call Sheila Dixon. I hear she's a friend of yours.
I think I've heard of her before.
So Sheila, I'm gonna tell you, Sheila's a phenomenal person too. So I'll never forget. Huh?
She got a mean sidekick.
Well, when I met her, she had Wanda Watts as a sidekick, and I love me some Wanda Watts. That's my lady.
Sheila can throw a sidekick.
Oh yeah, I know. She's one of the Avengers, if I'm not mistaken, because Brother Issa used to talk about it all the time. But so I'll never forget. And if Miss Dixon is watching this, let's see if she remembers this. So I got a phone call from somebody because this is when I had just taken over the space on Greenmount. And everybody had been talking, hey, this cat's gonna open up a white tablecloth restaurant on Greenmount. Sheila, who actually was one of the best mayors we had in this city. She's in the back on Greenmount, and they're doing a neighborhood cleanup. Her, Mary Pat Clark, there's about a good 40 or 50 people out. And this is in the back of what became Darker Than Blue. And I come out there with my business plan, talking all this good stuff. And Sheila looked at me like I had lost my mind. She said, "You're opening up a white tablecloth restaurant where?" So, and little did I know it was going to be as popular as it was, because I was just trying to make a couple dollars. But she ended up coming in there.
I want to say this.
There
are all kinds of perceptions about Greenmount Avenue, about Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yep.
And this has nothing to do with Madam Mayor. But I live here.
Yep.
And I know some things, some places that would blow your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to the projects in East Baltimore. I don't know if you were here then. It was called Lafayette Projects.
I knew Lafayette Projects.
A lot of people who have never been inside Lafayette Projects will have all kinds of prejudices and stereotypes.
Uh-huh.
But I've been inside Lafayette Projects, and I'm telling you, I saw people living better than people do in Owens Mills. So be careful what you perceive, because you might not really know that neighborhood.
Well, let me tell you this, Donnie. And so this is the interesting part about Madam Mayor. So she ended up becoming a huge supporter of mine, because what she ended up doing was, a lot of people don't know this about Sheila Dixon, is that what she used to do is for fallen police officers, she would send their wives to a dinner and a show, and she sent them to Darker Than Blue every year. And she would pay for the dinner, and she would pay for the show, for the Hippodrome play or whatever. And she was just a phenomenal person.
She came to that big event I did.
Uh-huh.
I did my anniversary over there in Greenmount.
She sure did. She's a phenomenal person, and and I love to tell people this story, not just about Sheila Dixon, but also about I'm sorry, I'm moving around because I'm charging my battery here because I've been on the phone all day trying to get this restaurant moving. But, one of the things that I remember is I love to tell people this story about, I owned one of the top 50 restaurants by Baltimore Magazine in what was considered the worst city and the worst street in the worst city, but I was one of the most popular restaurants in the city. So I say that, cheek to tongue, but it's true. I mean, this is a phenomenal city. Anybody that can only see the negative parts of Baltimore, get out. We don't need you here because there's so many positive things. There are a lot of brothers and sisters that are doing things in Baltimore, but it gets overshadowed by the negativity of the gun trace task force, of the civil unrest, of the Grand Prix. But we got brothers like Donnie Glover, Omar Muhammad, Hassan Jadon. We just got all these cats that are doing things in this city, and they don't necessarily get the accolades that they deserve.
I ain't waiting on Baltimore. We done already gone national and international. We do
That's
shows
right.
live 7 days a week. We've done 3 shows thus far, and this is our 1-year anniversary, December the 1st.
Congratulations.
We've done 3 shows from Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, and Tanzania. We have 2 shows weekly from Oakland, one from New York. So, I love Baltimore, but Black Wall Street and the awards, I mean, we're national. Next stop is Toronto.
I love it. I love it, Donnie. And you're doing big things. And I'll tell you, a lot of cats.
It starts here in Baltimore.
It starts in Baltimore. A lot of cats didn't know what Black Wall Street was until Donnie started doing events about it. You did 2 Black Wall Street events in one of my restaurants. So, listen.
Hey, Casey, we packed your house, didn't we?
You packed it. Yeah. And I've got none but love. Listen.
Erica Alston helped with that one.
Who did?
Erica Alston.
I don't think I remember Erica.
You remember her, but
I do.
Erica Alston was my point person.
All right.
She ran that point. Yes, she did.
Man, listen, I done locked horns with Donnie a couple times, and he's a good brother. But when all is said and done, he will be known. Hey, there you go. Look at him. Keep your left up. But when all is said and done, when we remember this brother, we're gonna remember him for one of those cats that helped move Baltimore forward, and I can appreciate that.
We got to support each other, and through the differences. Those people out there in Tulsa, I'm sure they had a disagreement or 2.
Yep, I'm sure they did.
You can't build 36 square blocks of businesses without some disagreement.
Yep.
They move forward. Let me ask you, what do you need? We're going to wind this down because I know you got a lot to do. And thank you for taking time up. But if there's one last question, what do you need from the community? What do you need from the city of Baltimore?
I told, so it was interesting. I had a conversation with the lieutenant governor all the time. We talk all the time, but one of the very first conversations I had with him, who you introduced me to, and we become good friends, he asked me one time also, well, Casey, what do you need? I said to the lieutenant governor that if you're doing the job that you should be doing, I can do the rest. If you're evening the playing field off for me, I can make the money. So I just need brothers and sisters to come out and not just support Casey Jenkins and Darker Than Blue, support all the Black-owned restaurants that are out there. Give them a chance because we're rolling rocks up hills. So you go into a restaurant, there's a specific restaurant that we were talking about this evening, not you and I, but myself and someone else. They don't give me the best service. They don't give the best service all the time, but I will not let them down by not showing up to spend my money with them.
Okay, what's on the menu? What's on the menu?
On our menu? Oh man, we've expanded the menu. We got some incredible things. We got chicken and waffles with a fresh chantilly cream. We've got a cowboy prime rib that's made with Cajun spices. We've got a seafood stew. We've got a gumbo. We've got just, you name it. Our cobblers are all made fresh. We serve everything in cast iron skillets. You're gonna love that. We've got our cornbread with sweet potato butter. We've got some incredible food that you guys are gonna love. And yo, I'm gonna do a shameless plug right now. Huh?
You said cornbread what?
Cornbread with sweet potato butter. That's what we were known for. People loved our cornbread with sweet potato butter, and also our macaroni and cheese with a hint of blue cheese in it. Everybody loved it. So listen, I'm going to do a shameless plug because one of the things we're doing at this Darker Than Blue that we didn't do because we have a tremendous amount of spaces, we are going to be doing a live open mic. And we have a young lady that was just nominated to be nominated for one of the best one of the best jazz artists, and she's right here from Baltimore, and she's going to be hosting our open mic. And like I said, she was nominated for a Grammy for this year, and her name is Satoria Keys, and she's here with me. We're talking about what we're going to do on that Monday night. Satoria, say hi to everybody. That's Satoria Keys, everybody, nominated for a Grammy for one of the songs she just wrote and produced. So she's going to be hosting our Monday Night Jazz stuff.
I don't believe you. We need a sample.
You need a sample. Give him a sample. Give him a sample.
Listen, Satoria.net, SETORIA.net.
Awesome. She's gonna be killing it. So we're gonna be doing a lot of live jazz vocals, a lot of great things, and we're gonna be bringing in the best of Baltimore. We really are. You know, this isn't about Darker Than Blue. Isn't about Casey Jenkins. It's about Baltimore, and that's what we're doing. You know, you guys have showed me so much love. Now it's time for me to give some love back.
You didn't mention any seafood dishes beyond that seafood stew.
Oh my God, I do have seafood dishes. I've got a Cajun rub salmon that's served with gremolata mashed potatoes, which is mashed potatoes essentially with citrus in it and roasted garlic. Gremolata mashed potatoes, slow roasted asparagus. We've got our stuffed shrimp starter, the stuff with crab meat. Oh man, we've got some tremendous dishes, and I've even got a couple of vegan dishes. And you guys know how I didn't do vegan dishes before, but now I got a couple of vegan dishes I'm going to be putting on the menu also. So it's all going to be. Listen, we're covering the entire South. So hey, come on through.
Okay, you covering the entire what?
South, baby. We're doing food from South Carolina, North Carolina. We doing food from New Orleans. We doing it all. Our gumbo is going to be really, really good. You know, that gumbo file with that sassafras is going to be good, baby. You're going to love it. And look, we actually added something to the menu that all of us could recognize, and it's on our new drink menu. When the last time you saw a hot toddy on the menu? I love that. Everybody, so far we've tested that out. Everybody's loving the hot toddy. So we're having a hot toddy on our menu, folks. And we also have peach and mango mint julep. So it's going to be nice. You guys are going to love it. Covering the South.
Can you show us around a little bit before you go?
Sure, of course I can. Of course I can. Let me take you through the spot. All right, let me see. I don't know if I can turn this around, but let's do this. Let's walk through like this. All right, so right now I'm standing in the main dining room, you know, and we just got inspected by the fire department, so we're looking lovely right now. And all the art on the wall, everything's local, everything's Baltimore. All the art on the wall was done by Matthew Rice. Matthew Rice, Baltimorean, originally born and raised in Baltimore. His brother's a famous rapper from here called Caddy the Don, but he is a former NFL player who's from Baltimore, and he's done all the artwork that's on the wall. So, you know, this is the main floor, but we've also got this incredible lounge area back here. You know, so let me show you a quick lounge area, and then I'm going to run you downstairs real quick, and then we're going to get out of here and let Donnie do his thing, going downstairs. And this is the Darker Than Blue that everybody's probably going to remember. You know, this is more intimate down here. So, you know, we're doing some things down here. And look, loving the art on the wall, loving it. So, yeah, we got some great things going on.
That's where we're going to be December the 9th for the Black Wall Street reunion.
That's right. That's right. Black Wall Street reunion, December 9th, here at Darker Than Blue Grill. The return of cool, everybody.
The return of cool.
The return of cool. That's right. Return of cool.
And you prayed over the place. You said the prayer, right?
I said the prayer. I burnt the sage. I did it all, brother. You know, we're getting all them evil spirits that might have been in here out. And we're replacing it all with good brothers and sisters from the diaspora.
Power to the people, man. Thank you for all you do.
Power to the people.
Good
Hey,
night,
I love
folks.
you guys. You guys all take care, all right?
Good deal. We'll be
God
back
bless.
tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. with the morning show. Casey, everybody, good night.
God bless.